The progress made so far in the educational sector in the Diocese of Buea have been evaluated with recommendations given to better the system within schools in the diocese. This was during a meeting of the Educational Council that held today at the Bishop Pius Awa Pastoral Center. And staff of Caritas Diocese of Buea have sharpened their knowledge and humanitarian principles and community leadership as they gather to the seminar. Also, journalists have been encouraged to continue highlighting the effects of climate change as they celebrate the 18th edition of the World Radio Day. Good evening and thanks for joining us. These stories and more will be developed in just a moment. Please stay with us. You're welcome back. Some 12 members of the Educational Council in the Diocese of Buea have evaluated the progress made so far in the year 2024-2025 in the educational sector in the Diocese of Buea. In a meeting that held today at the Bishop Pius Awa Memorial Pastoral Center, these members gave recommendations in order to better the educational system in the diocese. Franklin Fomukong followed today's meeting and put together this report.
An evaluative meeting was held earlier today at the conference room of the Buea Diocesan Pastoral Center, which saw the attendance of some 12 members of the Educational Council.
The Education Council is a body that is usually appointed by the bishop. Those are members within the community appointed by the bishop to assist him in educational matters in his diocese.
The meeting, chaired by Bishop Michael Bibi, was one of an evaluative nature.
At the level of what the Secretariat is doing, I think we are doing quite much. It's not easy. Sometimes when we have these meetings, there are lots of issues that come up which they expect the Education Secretariat to implement. They will have resolutions that they always come out, and they expect the Education Secretariat to implement those resolutions.
Analytical reports of the 2024-2025 academic year were presented by the Education Secretary, in which challenges faced by Catholic nursery, primary and secondary schools were analyzed. Methods were sought to better and make peculiar the Catholic educational system.
The meeting has been summoned for us to discuss and to evaluate the state of our schools, our Catholic schools, so primary, nursery, primary and secondary at this point in time. Some after one term and a half, to see what can be done and to evaluate the problems that we have had and look for solutions.
We look at the books, availability of books to our children, vis-a-vis what the government regulations are. We try to see that our children have books that they can study with, contemporary books that are being approved by the government at each level.
The 2024-2025 academic year, which started on September 9, 2024, saw the enrollment of more than 7,000 pupils in 28 nursery and 35 primary schools, and more than 5,000 students in 13 Catholic secondary schools. The next Educational Council has been slated for August 7, 2025.
Staff of Caritas Diocese of Buea are sharpening their knowledge on humanitarian principles and community leadership. This is in a course of a two-day seminar that is taking place at the Caritas Conference Hall here in the Diocese of Buea. Day one of the seminar opened today. Our reporter Bernard Assange attended the first day of the seminar. His report.
Cognizant of the growing population and need of basic human necessities for sustenance, the staff of Caritas of the Diocese of Buea have engaged into a 2-day seminar scheduled to run from February 13 to 14, 2025 at the Caritas building located behind the Divine Mercy Co-Cathedral. With the focus of the seminar being the training on humanitarian principles and community leadership, today's session was based on the exploration of what humanitarian principles are all about, with the help of the facilitator, Mr. Ndochue Author, who did his best to make the concept easily digestible by all. Riding on with the seminar, the director, Mr. Chinda Pierre, highlights the objective and aim of the training to the staff and those it will benefit in the long run.
It is very important because our staff have to master the principle of humanitarian work. This is neutrality, impartiality, independence, and humanity. And also now that we are working with people in the field, try to build their resilience, we have to know how to get access to the community, how to empower the community to stand for themselves.
Following the rapid intervention of Caritas of the Diocese of Buea into the local communities, the seminar goes a long way to lay solid foundations for the implementation of several humanitarian projects.
The Bishop of the Diocese of Buea is engaged in many projects with the communities. One of the strongest projects now is how the community can get access to potable water and fight against cholera. So in many communities, we are coming together to see how we can build borehole, we can drill the borehole with the communities and make in such a way that the community can manage and sustain the borehole.
Accompanying the setting up of ground rules for the seminar were expectations from the staff, such as the improvement of knowledge on humanitarian principles, the learning of humanitarian principles, and among others, are all evaluated to have met their goal.
Today we had a lot of expectations from every angle, and my own expectation was to know the humanitarian principle I can apply in the community. Particularly in the WASH project, that is the project to combat waterborne diseases, the project to construct boreholes in community, and I want to particularly know how to approach the community in a more humanitarian way.
It's never a project within an organization that is away from the humanity, and we are focused on humanity and making sure that we address situations faced by people in local communities and to empower our staffs to know how to operate and to help the people within the communities.
As the day one meeting of the seminar runs to a close, the goal, which stands tall above all, is equipping Caritas staff with the necessary knowledge of humanitarian principles, ensuring that interventions are guided by the fundamental values of humanity, neutrality, impartiality, and independence.
Many thanks, Bernard Asangne. Now, Christians of St. Patrick's Parish in Bafia are gearing up preparations towards the celebration of the 10th anniversary of their parish, erected in the year 2015 with Reverend Father James Chikeze as his pioneer parish priest. The parish has been through thick and thin, heavily affected by the ongoing Anglophone crisis. These Christians, who became internally displaced persons in their own country and slept in bushes, receive renewed hope with the presence of the church and their priest in their midst in the course of the crisis. Though opened just 2 years before the crisis and having spent most of his 10 years struggling with the crisis, the Christians have never lost hope, as their bishop, Bishop Michael Beebe, has always been closer to them with the message of peace and hope. Tomorrow, the entire parish will join the bishop to thank God for 10 years of existence with activities that will feature Holy Mass with the Bishop of Buea, dedication of the church building, blessing of the St. Patrick statue, cultural displays, amongst others. And we wish a wonderful celebration to the Christians of St. Patrick's Parish, Bafia, tomorrow with the Bishop. Now moving on, priest serving in the Diocese of Aboya yesterday, Wednesday, February 12th, 2025, met at Holy Trinity Parish, Bota in Limbe for their monthly sporting activities. Yesterday's sporting event witnessed prayer, physical exercises, and communion, as Reverend Father Martin Moka Njie tells us.
Another convergence permeated with fraternal koinonia as focal point to the dynamic Presbyterium of Boya was a regular monthly sport for the priest of the diocese held on Wednesday at Holy Trinity Parish in Bota. The priests came from various parishes to commune, exercise and relax their minds, mostly enveloped with the weight of pastoral responsibilities.
It is said in Holy Scriptures that how good and how pleasant it is when brothers meet together. So I think that is the raison d'etre for all the priests coming together every month, once every month, to meet, to share, to enjoy, and of course to enjoy a game. And so we just had the game, and it was a wonderful experience. Though not all the priests were there, those of us who were there, I think that it's a wonderful experience. And sports also help to break down a lot. The stress from the parish, this has helped me a lot. And I'm inviting all the priests, of course, let them not forget our tradition to always take time to come and to enjoy, even if they cannot play. Let them come, meet with their brothers, discuss with their brothers.
Among the litany of virtues transmitted and imbibed, courage coming from the elderly priest to the young to keep them focused and goal-oriented.
Personally, I take it so dear to heart because it's not just a moment of sport, but to me, it's another moment where when we gather like this, our elder brothers, they will give us one or two ideas that will help us in our various places of work. So I always take it personal, and I always look forward to coming for this exercise. Like they say, when you do exercises regularly, you keep the doctor away. And I think it's a wonderful thing that we meet every month to do this exercise, besides what we do in our various places as individuals.
As the priests communed after the physical exercises, they impacted their blessings on Kemazen Vincent, the sportsman and the referee who usually carry them on with regard to their exercises and games. Recently appointed and promoted to the level of a FIFA-recognized referee. The men of God joined the three of their brothers who recently celebrated their birthday anniversary with beautiful enchantments, prayers, birthday wishes, and blessings.
I am 39 today. I am 4 and 90 days. Minus 1, I will be 50. I am 49. Next year, I will be 50. Celebrating my brother priest is a wonderful experience because I felt a strong sense of belonging and the support and the encouragement which the brothers always give. It helps us to continue our pastoral.
With the objectives of the day met and goals of fraternal koinonia strengthened further, the priest parted company more energized to keep the steam of the pastoral ministry glowing in the diocese of Boya.
Priest of the Diocese of Aboya communing there. Now, away from church news, journalists have been encouraged to continue highlighting the effects of climate change as they celebrate the 13th edition of the World Radio Day. This year's theme, Pegged on Radio and Climate Change. The journalists are called upon to use the radio to impact change. Nadesh May spoke to an environmental journalist in the following report.
In 2025, radio's role in tackling climate change has become more important than ever, offering a platform for promoting environmental sustainability and inspiring action. In Cameroon, particularly in Buea municipality, over 11 radio stations are playing a vital role in raising awareness about climate change, especially those facing environmental disasters like flood. Through their broadcast, these radio stations amplify the struggles and concerns of local population, giving them a voice in climate conversation.
The theme of this year is very timely, given the glaring effects of climate change. If it is not wildfire, it is flood, it is, all the climate disasters you can imagine happening all over the world, and Cameroon in particular. So the theme was very timely. And talking about radio utilizing their platform in telling climate stories or talking about climate change, I think that the first thing is to localize the content, right?
According to him, it is essential to contextualize climate messages to fit local realities. By doing so, radio stations can resonate more deeply with communities, making the message more relevant.
I think that the first thing is to localize the content, right? By localizing the content, you are talking about the realities of a particular environment in relation to climate change. And if, for example, if you're talking about desertification, you should talk about the north. People in the north will quite relate to it than, for example, things that relate to the ocean, which people in the coastal region will quite relate about it.
Incorporating interviews, community stories, and expert analysis into radio broadcasts ensures that the climate message is effectively communicated. This makes it easier for listeners to understand the issues and take meaningful action to combat climate change.
Saying that storytelling speaks to the heart and science speaks to the brain, to the mind. And one of the most effective way to pass out climate change related information is to adopt storytelling. This is very important because when you tell a story and give a human face to it, people are likely to take action. But when you keep talking about science without giving a human face to the science, it becomes very, very complicated, because climate change related issues are, first of all, very complicated, scientific, and sometimes very boring. So when you inculcate storytelling, and you'll be able to get people to take action against climate change.
As climate change continues to pose a global threat, journalists are encouraged to come together and collaborate, implementing strategies to address climate-related issues.
And though the theme of this year's World Radio Day is packed on climate change, the role of the radio station for evangelization can never be overemphasized. In the following report, our NewsVex editor Jude Mbaku looks at how faith-based radio stations use this medium for evangelization. His report.
Promote environmental sustainability and inspire.
The mainstream media is often known for its fundamental role to entertain, inform, and educate. Over the years, religious education through the radio has remained important in sustaining the faith of many Christians. The ready accessibility of the radio for far-off masses serves a motivational factor with which many faith-based organizations engage radio broadcast. Reverend Father Moses Tazo is priest of the Diocese of Buea and former station manager of the Diocesan Radio, DMR-TV. He situates the need of the church in radio broadcasts.
The common man can easily possess a radio. It's not cost to run it. And so that has been in the church another means of propagating their faith. And also, after Pope John Paul II visit to Cameroon in 1984, we had the publication of his visit here, Ecclesia in Africa, And out of the 19 commissions that the province of Bamenda collected from that book, means of social communication was one of the 19 commissions that we launched in 2000 when we also launched the pastoral plan of the Ecclesiastic province.
Reverend Father Moses Tazo shares with us the early days of radio evangelization in Buea and how impactful they were to their audience.
The bishop sent me to Rome for a summer course where I learned something about Catholic communication. Then we came down and started this radio. And the first fathers, they all began with Father Pius Awa at that time, where he was not yet a bishop, Monsignor Atang, Father Nomi, and Bishop Paul Vezekop. Those were the first team of priests. And then Sister Mercy Watini and Bishop Regan was also in that first team. So they prepared the programs, and they went to CRTV, and we recorded there. By the time I came, we had the anagram where we could record the programs in the studio and take them to the CRTV.
Not just the Catholic Church, other faith-based denominations use the radio too in reaching out to their Christians. At the headquarters of the Presbyterian Church in Cameroon in Buea, the CBS radio station is located. The Christian Broadcasting Service of the PCC believes so much on the impact the radio creates on its listeners. Reverend Ajime Nelson is the moderator's secretary.
In the Great Commission in the Gospel according to Matthew chapter 28 from verse 16, commissioning the apostles, the disciples, to go to all the world and preach the gospel. And we know one of the fastest and mass means of communication is the radio. So the churches, particularly the Presbyterian Church in Cameroon, had made abundant use of this from inception. During the time of the lone radio Buea on the shortwave band, that was there some years ago in the 60s when the PCC was established.
Jude Fremban, an ardent listener to the radio, says he pays much attention to gospel radio stations and that the radio will always be useful irrespective of the coming of new technology.
I've come to know the Bible. I cannot say I know the Bible all around, but at least what I know about the Bible, thanks to the radio, especially the Divine Mercy radio. But the radio, we say you have 2 eyes, 2 ears. So these 2 eyes they see equally as the 2 ears listen. So I don't really see what the negative impact that this new technology, these ICTs will have on the radio.
While receiving a relay antenna in October 2023 to extend the coverage of DMRTV's signal, the Bishop of Buea, Michael Bibi, reiterated this obligation towards the Christian people.
The radio is one of the means that we use to carry on this work of evangelization. We thought it necessary to have the relay here in Bujonga in order to serve the needs of those who want to listen to the Word of God, to get it in Limbe and Bota Dineri.
As the world commemorates World Radio Day, it is a reminder that this tool of communication, its proximity and accessibility, remains a giant motivation for the proclamation of the Word of God.
Tomorrow, February 14th, is celebrated worldwide as Valentine's Day. The fever of Valentine can already be felt in Buea amongst the young and the old. Hiladan Tukov in the following report visits some shops in Buea to gauge the level of preparedness and how the market trend have been going in view of tomorrow's celebration. His report.
Valentine's Day is a most anticipated day that is celebrated with great enthusiasm. Here in Buea, the streets are adorned with red items spotted at different shops. One of the most striking features of this Valentine's Day, known as Lovers' Day, is the bustling activity at these shops. They are crowded with people eager to purchase gifts for their loved ones. At Tanjong Bertrand, owner of Abeto Jewelry located at Tal Malingo here in Buea, says the business is moving on in a good footing.
People in there now for buy their Valentine's gifts them. Yes. So the market they remove, and because everybody they rush for buy things them or give a loved one. So they be too busy.
The gifts often purchased are of high quality, from vibrant bouquets of flowers to sentimental cards and jewelries. There is no shortage of options for those looking to express their affection on this romantic day, as explained by the gentleman.
I sell jewelries, I sell cosmetics, jewelries, belts, and if you see how I sell so many things. Better jewelry, go all things for all TV person. If you see them, if you define them, you can't fail, you get them.
Atanjon Bertrand is of the opinion that the purchase is highly done by the younger generation. He outlined the age range from 18 to 25 years. To him, these are still young birds in love issues.
18 to 25, so 18 to 25, highest 35, 30, yes. They talk say they need to learn nothing for love again. Say the one that they still learn, people they come by, they still learn love and they still beg love. So no, you know, there's that love where they never see and where they want show and now. So now it's that way the other ones that they talk of.
Vast Day is a time for celebration, reflection, and connection to many, whether via exchange of gifts, shared meals, or heartfelt gestures. Individuals must come to terms that such a day is an imperative day for them to express their sincere love for one another.
Hilaron Tukov reporting, then tomorrow we shall bring to you how the day was celebrated. Now, out of our national boundaries over to the Democratic Republic of Congo, where the church leaders in that country have dialogue with the leaders of the M23 rebel group who are wreaking havoc in the northern part of the country, particularly in Goma. The church leaders hope for peaceful resolutions from the dialogue, and also U.S. President Donald Trump, together with Ukraine and Russian president, have agreed to begin a peaceful process to end the war in Ukraine. This, as UN president spoke to the two other presidents on phone. Matilda Bison completes the story.
A delegation of religious leaders met with rebel group leaders in Goma on Wednesday as tensions continue to escalate in the wake of the M23's takeover of the eastern Congolese city. The meeting came amidst growing concerns over the ongoing violence and the humanitarian crisis unfolding in the region. Donatien Cholet, a Catholic priest and political figure, provided a glimpse into the discussions during the meeting, noting that the rebel leaders reassured the delegation that they were not pursuing the division of the country, nor were they engaged in illicit exploitation of resources. He emphasized that the rebels had clarified their position on these issues, but he also urged for the reopening of key infrastructure such as the airport and port, vital for the region's recovery. The religious leaders' efforts to mediate a peaceful resolution come as the war's impact continues to deepen, leaving the population fearful for their safety and questioning when the violence will finally end. With a combination of political, humanitarian and religious voices now calling for a ceasefire, there is hope that dialogue may pave the way for a lasting solution to the ongoing conflict in Goma and the broader eastern region of the Democratic Republic of Congo. Community leaders in Everton, south of Johannesburg, gathered at the Mthojeni Awareness Center to collect food parcels donated by the U.S. Department of Social Development. Mthojeni Awareness Center is a non-governmental organization that specializes in orphans and vulnerable children as a result of the HIV pandemic, and also has another program to help women and youths in the community. The NGO is one of many that have been affected by the President's emergency plan for AIDS relief and U.S. aid freeze by U.S. President Donald Trump, which has left many of their staff and beneficiaries worried about the future. Angelina Simanga, a beneficiary of the funding, said she had previously defaulted on her medication and is worried that she would suffer without the help of the NGO. Harriet Matthew, a social worker with Emthogeny organization, told the Associated Press that the funding played a significant role in helping people living with HIV and AIDS, and she wishes Trump would reconsider freezing the aid.
I'd be happy if the American President Donald Trump stops the whole crisis and takes things back to normal, because I don't think he's aware that the funding was helping us and the beneficiaries of the funding. We're here because of the beneficiaries, as they are the ones who are greatly affected. We are here because of them, and we wouldn't be here if it wasn't because of them. I hope whatever is happening comes to an end, so we can continue serving the community.
The U.S. provides more foreign aid globally than any other country, budgeting about $60 billion in 2023. And U.S. President Donald Trump has confirmed making a lengthy and highly productive phone call with Russian President Vladimir Putin on Wednesday, in which the leaders agreed to begin negotiations to end the war in Ukraine. These two statesmen are not friends, neither are they allies, except there is something to gain, and for Trump it is ending the war in Ukraine.
We had a great call, and it lasted for a long time, over an hour this morning. I also had with President Zelensky a very good call after that. And I think we're on the way to getting peace. I think President Putin wants peace, and President Zelensky wants peace, and I want peace. I just want to see people stop getting killed.
Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky describes his conversation with Trump as meaningful.
We discussed many issues, and President Trump informed me of what Putin told him. We believe that America's strength is enough, together with us, to pressure Russia and Putin towards peace.
Ending the war may come as a cost to Ukraine and restoring its original borders. The talk of peace has changed a little in Kyiv, where Russian missiles continue to target Ukraine capital. The road to peace will not be a smooth one for Ukraine, and on whose terms and cost is also uncertain.
Good news from the Democratic Republic of Congo and Ukraine. And that foreign news wrap up the package we have for you this evening. Before we take leave of you, a reminder of our major stories once more. The progress made so far in the educational sector in the Diocese of Aboya have been evaluated with recommendations given to better the system within schools in the diocese. This was during a meeting of the Educational Council that held today at the Bishop Pius Hour Pastoral Center. Also in this newscast, we told you how our staff of Caritas Diocese of Aboya are sharpening their knowledge on humanitarian principles and community leadership as they gather for to the seminar. And journalists have been encouraged to continue highlighting the effects of climate change as they celebrate the 13th edition of the World Radio Day. We're leaving in the company of a beautiful program still to come here over the Divine Mercy Radio Television. Do have a wonderful evening, and God's willing, tomorrow we'll gather again around this table for another edition of Divine Mercy Prime. You do stay with us.